We carry the trauma of our ancestors, not in books, but in our bones, in our blood, and every breath we take. But hear me clearly. This, right now, is our ancestors' awakening. The voices that were silenced then are speaking now through us. For generations, our people were taught to be quiet to survive the boarding schools. Removal, churches, violence, but today, that silence ends. I stand here as an Anishinaabe Ikwe, and I need to say this plainly. Our tribal nations are under attack. Our people are under attack. We are being targeted by ICE because of the color of our skin, and even though we are the first people of this land. So say it with me if you know it. No one is illegal on stolen land.
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 Yesterday, when people protested at a church in Minneapolis against an ICE-affiliated pastor, let me be clear, that is nothing new to American Indian people.
That's right.
We have lived with the wolves in sheep's clothing in the churches for far too long. In Catholic churches, in Christian churches, in institutions that claim salvation while delivering harm. Last night in South Minneapolis, our community was attacked again at the powwow grounds, which is ground zero for us in American Indian culture down in South Minneapolis. At our spirit fire, in the middle of the night, a truck of white supremacists rolled up and began throwing ice balls and objects at our lone firekeeper. Let me say this, so there is no confusion. We will not stand down when we are attacked on our own lands. Since ICE escalated its presence here, and since our people have been hunted and harassed, I have held on to a few words. Governor Walz said, the world is watching, the country is depending on Minnesota to hold the line of democracy. And look around you, we are holding that line. There is no state like this one, no movement like this, and unity like what you see right here. Our chairman Siki from the Red Lake Nation, a man who does not speak often, said it simply and plainly. Get out and protest. Let your voices be heard. As Anishinaabe people, we will be a voice for those who no longer have one. So I leave you with this. In 1876, at the Battle of Little Bighorn, Crazy Horse led his people into battle and said, only the earth lives forever. Strong-hearted to the front. So today, on Martin Luther King Day, and with our ancestors behind us and our children ahead of us, I ask you this, and I tell you this. Strong-hearted to the front.
Hello, relatives. My name is Crystal Norcross. I am Dakota. You are on Dakota land right now. And we won't stand for this bullshit. I have children that are going to have to live in this world after us, and I want to make sure that they're very well taken care of. And that's what we should be thinking about, is our future. What will our future be? I came here to sing a song. I'm going to sing a prayer song. And after that, I'll sing the AIM song. So bear with me for a second.
Take your time.
This next song is the AIM song. Thank you very much, guys.
For those of you that don't know about Allison Lucia's case or other cases of police brutality and neglect across our state and the Twin Cities Metro, we do have a table. I believe Jana also has a table here as well, so check out them and check out their work. Up next, I'm excited to bring up Kristen with the Minnesota Abortion Action Committee. The Minnesota Abortion Action Committee fights for reproductive justice for all Minnesotans, and so I'm really proud they're here today. Give it up for Kristen.
My name is Kristen with the Minnesota Abortion Action Committee, or MIRAC, and I'm so glad to be standing with you all on this Martin Luther King Jr. Day to stand up and fight back against Trump's nightmare. Truly have felt like a nightmare. We're seeing our cities under occupation, violent federal agents roaming our streets, and racial profiling taken to new heights as our neighbors are snatched out of their homes, their cars, and their places of work. The actions of these ICE agents have caused fear in our community, and they've kept people from going to work, to school, to the grocery store, to the laundromat, and to the doctor. And of course, we're seeing in real time how people of color are disproportionately affected by this occupation, as some of us feel relatively safe moving around in our own city, and many, many others do not. Say shame to that. Shame! MIRAC is a reproductive justice organization, so we've been paying special attention to the reports that ICE has been present in hospitals and in front of a Planned Parenthood clinic. When ICE stands between people and the vital healthcare services they need, including abortion care and services for victims of sexual violence, that's not reproductive justice, that's reproductive terror. We've also seen how DHS has given the green light for agents to sexually assault the people they abduct by denying any responsibility, and removed protections against sexual violence for transgender detainees. ICE agents go through very little screening, so domestic abusers are eager to apply. No one is safe with these violent men on our streets, especially not women and LGBTQ+ people. Say that ain't right! That ain't right! As much as these last few weeks have felt like a nightmare, it's also been a real opportunity to see Dr. King's dream come to life. People of conscience across all nationalities and races are coming together to resist this ICE terror and protect their neighbors, and it's because they know that we have a common enemy.
That's right!
ICE hates immigrants and people of color, but make no mistake, even if you're white and born in the U.S., if you get in their way and put up a fight, they hate you too. Justice for Renee Good. I've been so inspired by the people forming rapid response groups in their neighborhoods, the people getting food and supplies to families in hiding, and the people filling the streets in their tens of thousands. These cities are so beautiful, and I'm so glad I made Minneapolis my home. The Twin Cities will never, ever stop fighting back. Repeat after me. No Trump! No troops! Twin Cities ain't licking boots! No Trump! No troops! Twin Cities ain't licking boots! No Trump! No troops! Twin Cities ain't licking boots! I think most of you are already familiar from the MIRAC, but if you aren't, you should do that. Join rapid response groups, donate to food and supply drives, and come to our action at the state capitol this Thursday at 5:30, where we'll be demanding money for working families, not for ICE. And her son to know that we have their back. We're thinking of our immigrant neighbors, especially immigrant women, girls, and LGBTQ+ people. And we're thinking of our Twin Cities community, which will never ever stop fighting. No justice, no peace! ICE off our streets! No justice, no peace! ICE off our streets! No justice, no peace!
Mayor. Again, money for working families, not for ICE, 5:30 p.m. this Thursday at the Capitol. Our next speaker is Ashari from Twin Cities Coalition for Justice. Let's give it up for Ashari.
So I'm talking to you on behalf of Twin Cities Coalition for Justice and the Taking Back Pride Coalition. And we focus on that cops and corporations should be out of pride, and that we recognize that all of our communities have been brutalized by federal violence, just like the brutalization by ICE, just like the brutalization by cops that have gone back to the beginning of this nation. As I sought inspiration for what to say to you today, I did the very common thing of looking up quotes by Martin Luther King, many of which will be bombarded with today, that will be supportive and that will not condone the ways that we seek our freedom. But the one that stood out to me was from his letter to Birmingham City Jail. Freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor, it must be demanded by the oppressed. I thought about the past few days here in our Twin Cities of community members showing up physically to protect the freedom of our immigrant neighbors, despite ICE showing us that doing that might literally cost you your life. I think of the people sliding down icy hills of Powder Park to show up well over 50 days strong, to say we will not stand for ICE in our streets. Who is both a receiver and a provider of gender-affirming care, there are many things that this government and all the ones before it want to do to terrify me. But I remember that community is strength. Taking back pride means remembering that we have always been the only freedom we have ever had. Freedom we have came from Black queer ancestors demanding that freedom by fighting against police brutality. It's remembering that immigration enforcement is just a colonizer's attempt to try to make us forget that this land was free before they killed and pillaged to steal it from indigenous people and draw these imaginary borders. Autonomy is our absolute right, and we will not be deluded by laws that claim to protect children in the name of some white colonizer fiction of a gender binary. MLK reminds us that the only freedom we have ever had is the one that we have demanded from the oppressor. We have always been the only ones who keep us safe, and if you are not yet with an org, today is the day to find one. If you have not yet signed the petition against to organize for the police in Minneapolis, go and do so today. We keep us safe. Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe. Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe. Thank you.
To have to step up and be who we need. We were going to have a veteran named Joe do a poem for us. He was unable to make it, so I'm going to read it in his place. It's titled The War. Over 400,000 now are sleeping in the streets. I call them brothers and sisters. The system says they're creeps. Can someone explain this process where sacrifice don't count? The suicides grow daily. Is it a good amount? You turn your eyes away from me. The guilt inside is growing. You think that if I disappear, maybe you'll stop knowing. I'm a veteran from a war. I volunteered for this. And if I had to give my life, then death I'd surely kiss. I never thought when I left I would fight anymore. But the way the system treats us, we never left the war. Give it up one more time so that Joe can hear us. And then prepare to give it up for our next speaker. I'm inviting Traherne Cruz from Black Lives Matter St. Paul up to the stage. Oh, I'm sorry, from Minnesota, my bad. Black Lives Matter Minnesota is one of the co-organizers of this event and the people who initiated it a few years ago. And so we're proud to have Traherne speak today.
Down with deportations.
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 Up with reparations.
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 Down with deportations.
Down with deportations.
Down with deportations.
Down with deportations.
Up with reparations.
Up with reparations.
Up with reparations.
Up with reparations.
Thank you all for participating in today's caravan, which is also a direct action. And Martin Luther King will always take part in direct actions, whether it was the Montgomery boycotts or sit-ins at racist restaurants. The civil rights movement has always had a culture and a history of resistance. Black Americans have been resisting white supremacy and institutional racism in the United States for 400 years, and we will continue to do so until we bring it down. Dr. Martin Luther King wanted to make sure, in the book, Where Do We Go From Here, Dr. Martin Luther King referred to himself as a descendant of slavery. And he wanted to make sure that the descendants of slavery were economically safe. But because of the legacy of slavery, Jim Crow, and now mass incarceration, Black people are economically unsafe in the state of Minnesota and across the United States. And this is the racial wealth gap, according to DEMOS, the Federal Reserve, is substantial and is driven by public policy decisions, not decisions that Black Americans make at the dinner table. So we are demanding reparations now. And we're standing in solidarity with our immigrant brothers and sisters, and just Minnesotans in general, and demanding ICE out now. ICE out now! 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 Down with deportations!
Down with deportations.
Up with reparations!
Up with reparations.
Peace, happy MLK Day!
Just a quick plug because I'm a member of MIRAC. Minnesota Immigrant Rights Action Committee. We're an all-volunteer grassroots multiracial immigrant justice organization rooted in Minnesota that works to protect and empower immigrant communities for nearly 2 decades. Our next speaker is Amino from MIRAC. Let's give it up for Amino.
Action Committee. I'm honored to be here with you all today. As a Somali American, also true for all marginalized communities, we have benefited and still reap the rewards of what the civil rights movement and Martin Luther King have accomplished. We continuously learn from the Black community on how to protect each other from violence through resistance, and for that, we are grateful. The past couple of weeks have been tough for Minnesotans, especially immigrant communities. I live in Cedar Riverside, and ICE consistently visits the community at least 2 times a day. They randomly and forcibly get into apartment buildings, including senior apartments, They stop people walking in the neighborhood and question them. They stop by businesses to question their customers. And sometimes they just stay in their cars and drive around just to terrorize the community. The presence of so many federal agents in tactical gear in our communities feels no different than living in a war-zone country. My mom, although she's a citizen, has had to stay locked in our apartment because even if she doesn't face deportation, encountering ICE could be deadly. On Friday, I had to finally get her out of the house and bring her to my sister's, not because she wanted to, but because Jake Lang's promise to march through our neighborhood posed a great risk of violence. She said it feels like she's being displaced like she did multiple times in Somalia. Just like my mom, many of immigrant communities feel no sense of security, stability, and their lives have been disrupted to say the least. However, despite all their efforts to destroy and subdivide us, they have been unable to destroy our solidarity for one another, and in fact, made our sense of community stronger. Neighbors take the responsibility of taking shifts to patrol and protect their immigrant neighbors, doing mutual aid for vulnerable families and individuals, taking and bringing kids from school, taking individuals to work, places of worship, etc. Minnesotans demonstrate every day what solidarity means and act an example to the whole world. Solidarity has a cost, and Renee Good's murder is a symbol of the cost of solidarity. But if we learned anything from the past couple of weeks or our history, we cannot afford to lose our solidarity and turn a blind eye to injustice. What affects some of us will come to affect all of us, and that is why we can't feed into division and stay silent. And we choose to speak up and demand justice for stolen lives. Even if we are transformed forever, we refuse to take backwards steps and demand now more than ever, ICE out of Minneapolis. ICE out of Minneapolis! ICE out of Minneapolis! Until January 30th, we have new days to halt Congress's national funding of over $170 billion to ICE. Can we do it? Yes! We have some upcoming events by MIRAC. There's a press conference on Wednesday, January 21st at 3 p.m. at City Hall in front of Mayor Fye's office. There is no work, no school, no shopping day of action on Friday, January 23rd. Minneapolis. Also, save the date for MIRAC protest. No money for ICE there on Monday, January 26th at 5 p.m. at Senator Klobuchar's office. I'm going to give a simple Somali chants together. It's very simple. I'll say Dori Mayo. It means we don't want, and you say ICE. Okay. Dori Mayo. ICE. Dori Mayo. ICE. Dori Mayo. ICE. Thank you.
Thank you, MIRAC, for holding it down. Y'all have been out here almost every day organizing so many things. So we really appreciate an incredible organization that stands up for our immigrant community. Up next, I have the privilege of inviting one of my good friends, Alyssa Washington, from the wrongfully incarcerated and over sentenced Families Council, Minnesota. Alyssa is fighting for freedom for all wrongfully incarcerated inmates in our state, as well as for her fiance, Cornelius Jackson. So give it up for Alyssa.
Hello everyone, you are looking beautiful. Today we are not here for comfort. We are here for truth. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. warned us that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. What we are witnessing right now proves that his words were not symbolic. they were truth-telling. Because what immigrant communities are experiencing today is not new. Listen closely, y'all. It's the same violence Black, brown, and indigenous communities have been forced to endure for generations. Different uniforms, same systems. We lift up the name Cornelius Jackson, wrongfully incarcerated over sentenced for nearly 20 years. A man taken as a teenager.
That ain't right.
A life stolen, not by evidence, by a system willing to sacrifice truth for convictions. And we lift up, that's right, shame. And we lift up Nico Redding, an elder incarcerated for decades, whose health is constantly declining while the state refuses to let him go. Can I get a shame? Nico is not a threat. He is a human being forced to age and suffer behind bars, long past any moral justification. Right, that's right. This is what mass incarceration looks like when people stop paying attention. Let's be clear. Mass incarceration is not broken. It is doing exactly what it was designed to do. To control, contain, and disappear Black, brown, and indigenous people. And now we are watching that same violence show up in real time. ICE terrorizing immigrant communities, homes raided, families ripped apart, people detained, disappeared, and killed. ICE behaves this way because our state has already normalized violence against Black, brown, and indigenous people. When Black people are over-policed, when indigenous lives are ignored, when brown communities are criminalized, when elders are left to deteriorate in prison, it sends a message: some lives are disposable. So when ICE storms our neighborhoods, armed and unaccountable, they are operating in a system that already told them this behavior is acceptable. If you care about what's happening in immigrant detention centers, you must care about what's happening in our state prisons and jails. You must care about families separated by life sentences right here at home. If you care about freedom, you must care about all cages, not just the ones that make the news. Our organization exists because silence has caused too much. We organize for the wrongfully incarcerated, for the over-sentenced, for elders growing old behind bars, for families forced to fight systems that were never built for them to win. Dr. King reminded us that peace is not the absence of tension, it is the presence of justice. And justice demands that we stop turning away. Justice demands that we connect these struggles. Justice demands that we act. So today we say enough. Enough cages, enough terror, enough selective outrage. We stand with Cornelius Jackson. We stand with Nico Redding. We stand with immigrant families under attack. We stand with the Black, brown, and indigenous communities who have been forced to carry this burden for far too long. Because our struggles are connected. Our liberation is connected. And until all of us are free, none of us are free.
Let's give it up for this one more time, please. Our next speaker up is Chantel Allen from End Slavery and Minnesota Coalition. Let's give it up for Chantel.
Hey y'all, so I'm actually one of the co-founders of Black Lives Matter Twin Cities. Which is the reason for me getting to the foundation of all of this, right? How many of you guys know that we still practice slavery in Minnesota? Oh wow, we gotta get educated. So when we wrote this into the Constitution, when people so-called got free, they put an exception in there that said, except if you're convicted of a penal crime. So that means if you're in prison, you are actually subjected to slavery. And they actually are paid 25 cents an hour. But who does this hurt? It hurts the children who don't have another parent paying for their child support. It hurts the taxpayers because they only make $500 a year, so they don't file taxes. But who's paying for all this? Absolutely you are. I'm working on changing that. We're going to change the constitutional amendment to eliminate the exception in the Constitution. States have already done it. Tennessee and Alabama are two of them. We're behind Tennessee and Alabama, y'all. Don't be surprised. We've been calling this the Jim Crow North for a long time, right? So we're also going to write a bill that will reclassify slaves as workers, which will force the corporations to pay a minimum wage. Because they're working 40 hours a week. Everybody that's incarcerated is working 40 hours a week for big companies. Some of them are phony Disney balloons, where Disney's selling those balloons for $43 each. Right? So those are two bills. One's being carried by Bobby Joe Champion and Dave Pentel. That's the constitutional amendment. We are reclassifying slaves with Cedric Fraser and Claire Oberbader. I need you guys to stay tuned in because it's very possible this will get on the ballot. We have a launch party for this campaign that's happening next week, January 24th at Hallett Brown from 1 to 3 o'clock. If you want to get involved, go to www.mnslavery.org. Sign a petition, email your legislators, and let's get this foundational work done, y'all. Or else we're going to keep having to show up for this stuff over and over again. Because as long as we have slavery in our Constitution, we will never be free.
Thank you so much, Chantal. The End Slavery in Minnesota Coalition is doing some really amazing stuff. I went to one of their meetings, and there are so many ways that you can get involved, so please check out their website and please plug in to see what you can do. Our next speaker is Sabri Wazwaz with the Free Palestine Coalition as well as the Anti-War Committee. Sabri is one of my favorite chanting buddies. We're both really loud people, and he always shouts out the solidarity between Palestine and the Black Liberation Movement when he's on the mic. So thank you, Sabri, for speaking today. Give it up.
Can I get a free Palestine? For those of you who never met me, my name is Sabri. I'm a member of the Anti-War Committee. The Anti-War Committee, applause for the Anti-War Committee, please.